Gamescom is here and we've learned a lot about Team Sonic Racing this week. What are the 10 things that we learned from the demo? We'll find out right now. Hello there beautiful people, my name is RidersDX and welcome to my channel where I cover all sorts of things Sonic and SpongeBob related. So I know I just made a Team Sonic Racing video, but because it's Gamescom week, there's a lot of new information that's been revealed and I just could not sit there and not make a video about this stuff because there's a lot of brand new information and I want to be like one of your first sources for Sonic news. So these are the things that we learned from the Gamescom demos so far, and if there's going to be more stuff that they review later on in the week, I'll definitely cover that too. So there might be a part 2 to this video, so stay tuned. But just a quick plug-in before we get started. Like I mentioned in the last video on Team Sonic Racing, I'm writing for a new Sonic website called Sonic HQ. It's actually not a new website, it's been around for a while, and I'm writing articles for it now, so there's a text version of this video on the website. I'll leave a link in the description box below, and I'll also write a comment with the link to the article, so feel free to check that out and go ahead and check out the forum if you want to find a community with a lot of tight-knit Sonic fans, because we all are really excited about Sonic, talk about Sonic all the time. It's a really great community, so please go ahead and come join us. But anyway, please give this video a thumbs up if you like it and subscribe to my channel if you like videos like these and you want to see more in the future. Also go ahead and follow me on Twitter if you want to contact me outside of YouTube. But okay, there's a lot of stuff to go through, so I'm not going to waste any time. Let's get into my list right away. So I'll start off with one of the most obvious and biggest things that was announced this week, and that is the review of the new level called Market Street, which is basically based on the Sonic Generations version of Rooftop Run. Now, we already knew that Rooftop Run was going to be a level in this game based on the CGI trailer that was released during E3, but now we actually have footage of the level inside the game, so now it's actually official that Market Street is the name of the Rooftop Run level in this game. And I gotta say, it looks just as good as it did in Sonic Generations. It actually looks a little bit more colorful just because of all the aesthetics that they added for like the racing game in particular. Like you see like those chairs at the Chow, for example, the steel balloons in the air. Like I'm really starting to dig like this game's aesthetic. It's so much fun and so like adorable. It's got such a nice, humble, family-friendly feel to it, and I'm really digging like the art direction of this game. I think the art direction's awesome. Rooftop Run looks really fun also. I think it's a really great environment for a racetrack. Number 2 on my list is actually something I have quite a bone to pick with. I saw this interview IGN did with I guess someone from Sega Europe. During the interview, the guy mentioned that there was going to be 21 tracks in the game, which I was like, yes, 21 tracks is a really good number for the game. But then he said afterwards that there were 7 zones and that each zone would have 3 tracks associated with it. And I'm just like, you're kidding, right? You gotta be kidding me, honestly. I like Rooftop Run and all, but I don't need 3 levels of Rooftop Run. Like, I don't know how different you can make it to make it seem like different levels, but it's still the same environment either way, so it still feels like I'm being cheated out of like a diverse track selection. And to really only have 7 zones in this game is actually, kind of unacceptable, honestly, especially when you have games out there like Mario Kart, for example, that have so many different diverse locations within the game. Why does Team Sonic Racing feel so limited by comparison? It's not like they have to make completely new levels. Like, even if they had to like reuse like all sorts of levels from Sonic Unleashed, Sonic Colors, Sonic Generations, and Sonic Forces, at least they'd all be different levels. Like, I'd rather have like a bunch of new levels reused than to have 21 tracks but only 7 real zones in the game. Like, I don't know, this detail is pretty disappointing to me personally, and not really happy about this announcement. You know, it's just like, it's basically icing on the cake along with the 15 character roster. So everything about this game just seems so limited, but I do hope it's at least fun to play. That's one of the only things that it can still have going for it. So speaking of levels, also mentioned during the interview was that the levels are being taken from like previous Sonic games while having some new elements added to it. The oldest game that they're taking a level from is apparently Sonic 3. Well, then again though, I don't know who this guy is, but he didn't seem that knowledgeable about a bunch of things in terms of Sonic. Like, okay, not a bunch of things, but there was this one part of the interview where the interviewer was asking him what the ice level was based on, and then he's like, oh, I guess, and she actually asked if it was a level in Sonic Advance, and then he was like, oh yeah, it's based on that. And to be honest, I highly doubt that level is based on the level in Sonic Advance. Like, there's just no way that they would like choose such an obscure level. No. And I actually saw a tweet somewhere about the fact that there was music in the level that sounded like a remix of Alaska. So it doesn't look like Alaska to me, but I guess the music is a remix of Alaska. Like, I don't even know if this tweet was actually reliable because I tried to find it afterwards and I couldn't find it. So actually, don't worry about that. I'm not really sure. But yep, the oldest level comes from Sonic 3, and I hate to say it, but it's probably going to be Sky Sanctuary because they've been reusing a lot of assets in this game, so really would not be surprised if they reuse Sky Sanctuary. But Sky Sanctuary is like a really awesome environment though, so I really wouldn't mind it being one of the levels in Team Sonic Racing. But I'm really crossing my fingers for like maybe Hydro City. Like, that would be just the most amazing thing ever. Hydro City is one of the levels that I wanted to be as a stage in Team Sonic Racing. As I mentioned in like my very first video on Team Sonic Racing, which is where I talked about the stages I wanted to see in the game. If you all want to check out that video, then go ahead and click in the top right corner and I'll link it right there. Now the fourth thing, I don't know if this was already mentioned in like a previous interview, but this was news to me, but I guess I kind of assumed that this would be a feature, but you'll have the option to customize your carts. To what extent we don't know, but we do know that there's going to be a certain level of customization when it comes to the carts. So hopefully it's beyond skills and like you could actually like add little designs to them and all that. Like, that'd be a really cool way to like kind of customize each character's vehicle, since each character is basically stuck with the vehicle that they've been given, because you can't switch characters between different vehicles according to the interview at IGN. So if we could at least like customize them like on appearance along with skill, that would be a pretty cool feature. Okay, so this next one, it might have been reviewed before either, but I don't think it was an official confirmation until this interview. Yeah, I pretty much took everything I found out from this interview, by the way, but there was a lot of good information during the interview, so you are not going to be disappointed. It looks like in story mode, you're going to be forced to play the teams that they've been promoting, like through all the promotional videos and all that. So you would have to stick to Team Sonic or Team Dark, or I guess Team Chaotix, not really, more like Team Non-Chaotix, and then the Team Rose, I guess, although Cream's not in it, so you know what, I don't think they even have names, so whatever. But in a mode outside of story mode, you actually have the option to customize your team and choose what characters you want to play as in your team. The guy in the interview mentioned like Sonic, Shadow, and Silver as an example of a team that you could form. What's really cool actually is that you could even form teams of the same character. So if you wanted to, you could literally have a team of Bigs if you so desired that. I like that there's this level of customization that's gonna be in this game, because customization in a racing game is really important. And I'm glad that we'll be able to like choose the 3 players that we want to be on our team, because you'll get to make some really crazy combinations that way, and it will add to like the replayability value of the game too. So really good decision here. Okay, next up on my list is something that I think we all assumed was going to be in this game, but we didn't actually get like hard concrete details of how it was going to work. So as we all know, there's 3 different types of characters in this game. There's speed, technique, and power. And now we finally know what makes them so different. So with speed, apparently when you drift, I don't know if you can do this while you're still drifting, or if you do this when you release the button after drifting, but apparently if you have someone like shooting projectiles at you, you can deflect them while you're drifting. So that's pretty cool for like the speed character, because it's like obviously they're going so fast that the projectile can't hit them. Now if you're a technique character, you're able to drive over grass and possibly other tough terrain without losing speed. So that's also a really useful thing for a technique character. And then with power characters, you can actually bust through hazards without losing speed also, you know, kind of just like it was in Sonic Riders. So they all have things that allow them to continue to maintain the speed that they've been on like on a racetrack. So that's how they differ in that way. Okay, so I'm actually gonna group the next 3 things in a bit of a category, because all 3 of these things have to do with this adventure mode of the game, which is basically the game's story mode. So the first thing I want to talk about is apparently the story mode cutscenes are going to be a lot like the text boxes in Sonic Forces, in that, you know, you have the character's avatar pop up and then a speech bubble, and then they'll say stuff, you know. So it's very similar to how those speech bubbles worked in Sonic Forces and how like the Sonic Free Riders cutscenes were. And you know what? To me, it's not like the best thing you could do. Like, I would have loved to have like animated cutscenes and seeing like Blaze, Silver interact with like Big, the Chow, etc. But this is also not bad, because Team Sonic Racing is not a game that you buy for the story. Like, that's just not realistic at all. So as long as they have some kind of plot that helps to tie the story together in a reasonable way, I have no issues with them choosing this method for the cutscenes. I would have loved to see like fully rendered models like interacting with each other, but that's not where this game's focus should be. So hopefully by not having to make those cutscenes, they were able to focus more on making sure the gameplay was good, which I don't know. It's Sumo Digital, so I have good like faith, but I also heard that like a lot of the staff on Sumo Digital this time are brand new. So we'll really just have to see how the game like comes out when it does come out anyway. I also discovered during the interview with IGN that story mode actually is possible to play as a co-op adventure. So you could play with, I'm thinking, 2 other friends, because I'm assuming that the story modes are going to be based on the teams. So you could have 2 friends, and then you could all play Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, for example, in the story mode, and it would be split screen. Not sure if on the Switch you would have the option to take one player off to use the tablet. I don't really know the details of that. We'll probably know them eventually, but this is a really cool feature if you have friends that want to play the game with you, because then you all can learn how to play the game at the same time using the story mode, because the story mode was described as a bit of a tutorial and also as a bit of a story to tie the events together. So yeah, that's a really cool feature. Now the last thing that I need to talk about in terms of the story is a really big one, and you've all probably heard of it at this point, but we finally got a name for that mysterious cat figure that we saw earlier. I don't know if it was a video or like a picture, but apparently this person's name is Dudanpa, and basically it's the one that's I'm assuming it's a he, but maybe it's a she, or maybe they, you know, they might use they, them, their pronouns. But anyway, okay, I'm just gonna say they, but oh my god, I lost my train of thought. But they're the ones that are basically running the whole race. Like, I think they're running a bit of like a competition or something like that, and they're trying to manage the entire race and getting everyone to come and join the race. So it's kind of similar setup to like Sonic Riders in terms of like how Eggman was inviting everyone to the Grand Prix that he was holding. But this guy, Dudanpa, we're not really sure if he's a good or bad guy. I'm just gonna lean towards bad, because every story needs like an antagonist, and it doesn't look like Eggman is gonna be that main antagonist this time around. So we found out the name of this guy from the Fat Muso issue. It's like a Japanese like magazine, I guess. They basically say that like you don't know this person's intentions at first, but you will get to learn them as you progress through the story. So I'm gonna think it's pretty confident that this person's gonna be like a bit of an antagonist. So really looking forward to learning more about Dudanpa, because he definitely looks like an interesting character. Kind of looks like Big's cousin in a way, so that's cool. Okay, the last thing on my list, this is like the most important, biggest, hugest thing that I'm gonna cover in this video, period. Like nothing comes close to this. But this week during Gamescom, we came across the discovery that the Chow can talk. Yeah. So I was watching some gameplay footage, and I noticed that the Chow would say stuff in the chat boxes as well as the other characters. And the picture is of like that normal neutral Chow, and it's saying like some of these quotations that I'm showing you right now on the video. Nothing like too special. Like some of these things can be a little bit quirky, I guess, but like nothing too special. But I wonder if they meant that like Omanacho or Omachao. I think it's actually Omachao. I need to stop calling it Omanacho. But Omachao is the one that is speaking, but maybe they're just using the icon of the normal Chow because the normal Chow is what's like kind of the basic representation of the whole like character and vehicle, because as you can see the vehicle is light blue, so obviously the neutral Chow holds some prominence over here. I mean Oma Chow is also light blue, but you know, it's different, like don't question me. But yeah, I just thought it was funny how like even the Chow have like dialogue that they can contribute to the races. Okay, so it actually wasn't that big. I just thought it was a cute little thing to talk about. But okay everyone, that is my whole list. Phew, that took a long time actually. This is why I usually like to make like lists of 5 things rather than 10, but there's just so many things to cover here that I had to make this long of a list, so hope you all forgive me. But anyway y'all, if you like this video then please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you like videos like these and you want to see more in the future, and go ahead and follow me on Twitter if you like videos like these and you want to talk about Sonic with me outside of YouTube. But yeah, it's almost 12 here. I'm falling asleep, so I'm gonna go take a nap now. But you know what, thank you all so much for the support you've been showing this channel. We're getting really close to 1,000 subscribers, you know, I can taste it. So please go ahead and share this video with people if you want to, and you know, just thank you so much for your support. You know, RidersDX is out, but I'll be back soon. Bye bye.